I'm starting to sound like a record on repeat, as yet another pair of blasts rocked the Chinese port city of Tianjin. And investigators confirmed that a Russian-made Buk missile shot down Flight MH17. Plus, Japan threatens to pull out of UNESCO, and hostages in the Philippines plea for their lives. These stories are coming up next. This is the Asia Brief. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday, October 14th, 2015, the hump day of the week. My name is Steve Miller, and as always, it is a pleasure to have you with me here today. We're going to go ahead and get started with stories of an additional blast rocking the Chinese port city of Tianjin. Just 2 months after a massive set of explosions rocked the Chinese port city of Tianjin, another warehouse blast was reported on Tuesday. This time, the explosion was registered near an alcohol storage facility and started a fire. At present, no fatalities have been reported. While that is good news, given the flow of information after the last major event, or should I say the lack thereof, take that piece of information with a grain of salt. This latest explosion underpins the lack of safety oversight in the area, and despite this, the local government said the explosion posed no risk to the people or the environment. Right after Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 went down over Ukraine, the predominant theory as to the cause was that a pro-Russian separatist fired a Russian-made Buk missile at the aircraft. On Tuesday, investigators in the Netherlands officially came to that conclusion. The report itself doesn't actually assign blame in the missile attack, only that their findings indicate a Buk missile was fired and hit the plane. The investigators have rejected the theory that Moscow has footage in which the plane was hit by a missile fired by Ukrainian troops. Russia continues to deny any involvement, saying that questions Moscow sent the investigation team went unanswered. Analyst Peter Felstead of Jane's Defense Weekly told the AFP the airliner was most likely shot down by mistake by a Buk missile crew who crossed the border to help rebels counter Ukrainian air threats. Malaysia also rejected the notion that Ukraine was responsible for the airplane's destruction and vowed to prosecute the trigger-happy criminals who downed the flight. On Monday, I mentioned that UNESCO would be inscribing the Tianjin massacre into the memory of the World Register, something Japan wasn't too happy about. The event, in which up to 300,000 people may have been slaughtered, is flatly denied to have happened by Japan or is relegated to a minor incident where some non-combatants were killed. Now, the Japanese government is acting like a spoiled child who didn't get their way and is threatening to take their funding away from the program. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga on Monday said the decision by UNESCO to accept the documents from Beijing was problematic, considering Tokyo and Beijing have conflicting views on the matter. He said Japan was seeking fairness and transparency in the UNESCO program to prevent it from being used for political purposes. Suga went on to say that the Japanese government is reviewing its support of UNESCO, including its financial ties to the organization. The message is clear. We whitewash our own history and won't support organizations that make us face our own dark, deplorable past. It's responses like this that continually fray the ties with Japan's Asian neighbors who claim that Tokyo perpetuates a glorified view of its imperial past and did nothing wrong in World War II. Come on now, it's the 21st century and time for Japan to finally grow up and face the facts. 2 Canadians, a Norwegian, and a Filipino woman appeared in a video pleading for the Philippines to stop military operations and for Canada to negotiate their freedom from the Islamist militants who abducted them. The group was taken at gunpoint by 11 men in September and believed to be linked to an Al-Qaeda Islamist militant group.
My name is John Ridsdale. I confirm we were taken captive from the Ocean View Marina in Samal Island in Davao. I'd like to add and give the message from all of us. We beseech, we urge, we beseech the Canadian government to please help us, and the Philippine government Canadian government and the Philippine government to help us by stopping all of the operations that have been going on, like artillery fire which came near us, and there have been flights overhead, and bombs and military operations. Please stop all of these operations so that negotiations can start about their demands.
The attacks mentioned in the video could not be corroborated, and the Philippine government refused to comment on operations in the area or on the video itself.
I deliver a message to the Canadian government and to the Philippine government. We want your cooperation with us. And to meet all the requirements, number one, that there must be no military operation, and there must be no artillery attack, and all of this harmful against us. Once you meet our requirements, then we can talk about negotiation and demand. Takbir!
The leader appearing in the video did not identify to which group they belong to or their exact location, although it is widely suspected they may be tied to Abu Sayyaf, a small but violent Islamist militant group known for bomb attacks, kidnappings, and beheadings in the area. Well, my friends, those are today's stories, so please take a moment and let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. The Asia Brief is a special feature of the Asia News Weekly podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with your friends, and if you haven't, subscribe. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is delivered automatically to you. You can subscribe on our website, asianewsweekly.net, or in your favorite podcast application. You can also keep up with more news from the region by following Asia News Weekly on Facebook or Twitter. And if you have any comments, questions, or feedback, be sure to drop us a line. That email address is podcast@asianewsweekly.net. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, remember to be true to yourself and to always be awesome.